you got to keep going. You got to keep fighting no matter what for the people that you love, and you got to show up for yourself. Don't stop doing something if you love it.
Welcome to the Hairpreneur Show, the show that teaches you, the hair pro, how to work smarter so you can make more, work less, and live a purpose-driven life on your schedule, not your clients'. I'm your host, Ryan Weeden, and each week I'll teach you awesome, actionable ways to tap into your personal greatness. Through marketing, mindset, and confidence training, it's time to unlock the next level of you. Let's grow.
Welcome back to the Hairpreneur Show. I'm Ryan Weeden. It's about 3 days away from Father's Day, and being a new father, it's pretty exciting because this is one of those opportunities when you have small kids to actually ask for something that is really meaningful, which is sleep. The first thing I want to do on Father's Day is sleep as long as I can. Of course, sleeping into me now, what that means is I get to sleep in until like maybe 8 o'clock if I'm lucky. Normally my body wakes up way before that, and I love my kids, so I do like to see my kids, especially on my days off. So I'm going to do my best to sleep a little bit longer than normal, and I'm sure I'll still wake up pretty early compared to most people when they think about sleeping in. But I'm going to sleep in, and Jenny, my wife, has already promised to make me some pancakes. She makes delicious pancakes with a lemon zest, and I'm excited for that. And what else? Maybe be a margarita or two throughout the day. But I'm just excited to hang out with my family and enjoy a Father's Day and celebrate it with my kids. And that's pretty much what being a father is all about. But it's also a time of reflection. And as if you've been listening to my episodes leading up until this one, we've got a big event called Hero, and it's about tapping into our inner hero when we need it most. A lot of us, we're always dealing with challenges and struggles in our lives and what I've called my darkness and my demons. And at times we need to call upon this hero deep inside of us to save ourselves and to show up when we don't want to show up, to tap into that courage when we need it most. And I look toward Father's Day as a reflection of looking back at my father. I have a stepfather now, and he's fantastic. But my biological father, who passed away when I was 13, and he was a hero to me. He was born with diabetes, had it his entire life, did the best he could to hide it from us so we didn't see the pain and struggle that he faced for many, many years. And he did that for us. He did that to show up as his best self, to show us that anything is possible. And he had his struggles. He had obvious struggles that I could see, but he was battling a lot of demons as well. And one of those biggest demons was diabetes. He had to, if you know anything about diabetes, you have to get regular insulin shots, and they don't have the systems that they have now, which make it a lot easier to maintain the right levels in your system so that you don't have diabetic attacks, which are freaky enough as it is when you just kind of lose yourself in these moments of these diabetic attacks. And I've seen him have these, I don't even know what you call it, just sugar explosions or not enough sugar in his system. And you don't even recognize the person that you know and love until they get back on track with the right amount of insulin. And he would pull up his shorts every night or pull down his pants every night before dinner, and he would give himself a shot in the thigh, and he'd prick his finger to do the test. And that was hard enough to watch growing up. And it just was part of what I saw every single day. And he was doing this religiously because he had to. But it never stopped him from doing what he wanted to do in life and being there for us. He was always a coach in my soccer teams and was out there playing tennis. We grew up as a very athletic family, and he was very athletic. And he was even blind in one eye. He became blind in one eye because of the diabetes, but that didn't stop him. He continued to play soccer with only the sight one eye. And if you close your eye with your hand, you can start to think about how difficult that might be with depth perception and making that contact, that hand-eye coordination it's a lot harder with tennis, with soccer. And I could see he was very frustrated, and he knew he was capable of so much more, or at least he was at an earlier point in his life. And just to watch him struggle with that was really tough, but it didn't stop him. He would get out there on the court every single weekend. He would show up on the soccer field every single week or whenever the practice was, whether he was coaching us or whether he was competing himself as he and my mother did in these adult leagues. He was a hero to me up until forever, and up until the day that he dropped down on the soccer court. I was in 8th grade, and I was in 8th grade dance, and he was playing a soccer game that night with my mom. And wow, I didn't know this podcast was going to go deep like this. But I was at this dance, and I was this nervous kid in 7th grade at the 8th grade dance. Or was that in 8th grade? It's hard to remember. It was such a long time ago. But I was at the 8th grade dance, so I must have been in 8th grade. There we go. It was 8th grade. So I'm at this dance, and he was playing soccer just like he did every Friday night. Later that evening, I got a call down to the office, which usually is not open, but somebody came and grabbed me and brought me to the office. And there I was met with my parents' best friend, and they were actually supposed to be playing in the soccer game with them that night, and they actually were playing in the soccer game. And I walked down the hall. I was like, what's going on? And she just said, Ryan, you need to come with me. And then I'm like, wait, something's off. Something's weird. Because first of all, her son, Harry, didn't even go to my school, and the soccer game wasn't near my school. So instantly I knew something was wrong. And to make a long story short, without making this too long and depressing, she brought me to the hospital with my brother, who she had picked up earlier. She and her husband had picked up earlier, and they were both playing with my parents in the soccer game. And she said, your mom's inside. I'll walk you in there. And then I saw my mom in this room sobbing. And I went up to my mom, and I just instantly started sobbing, and my brother started sobbing, and we didn't know what was going on, but we had an idea what was happening. And she just looked at me, and my mom, crying, said, your father's, he's dead. And I started sobbing uncontrollably. I'd never experienced loss in my life before. I'd seen it on TV, but I never actually experienced it in my life. This was the first time, and I was in 8th grade, 13. And that day changed the rest of my life. From that moment on, I didn't have a father anymore, and he was somebody that I always relied on, and I expected would always be there for me. And now, of course, it's Father's Day again, and I think about him, and I think about him a lot. I think I'm actually wearing his chain, not his chain, but I found a memento in his belongings shortly after he passed, and I kept it for myself, and I made a necklace out of it, and I'm wearing it right now. And I use it for strength. I use it to remember him, and I tap into that love and use it when I need it the most. He taught me to never give up. He taught me to always have hope. He taught me that we have the power to decide how we're going to show up for life. And although sometimes life might really get us down, sometimes life might throw us some serious curveballs, but you got to keep going. You got to keep fighting no matter what for the people that you love, and you got to show up for yourself. Don't stop doing something if you love it. And I remember that always. He taught me to never give up, to never stop fighting for what I believe in. And that's what I remember most about him. And it's definitely a very strong lesson I want to pass on to you, and I want to pass on to my kids as a father and as a role model. Never stop fighting. Never give up. No matter how many times life knocks you down, and it does a lot, it will try to whoop you on your butt. You got to pick yourself back up, and you got to say, I'm not done. You're not going to knock me over. No matter how many times you kick me on the ground, I'm just going to get back up, and I'm going to keep walking forward. No matter how many times you blow me back, I'm going to put my head down and charge forward. I'm going to tap into my courage. I'm going to tap into my inner hero. And I'm going to show up for the ones that need me the most and that need it the most. And sometimes that person is yourself. That person is me. I need to show up for myself. So I ask you all, no matter what you're going through right now, know that I understand that it might take you having to tap into something deeper, something inside of yourself to get past where you're at. And we're all facing invisible enemies, but we can overcome. Stay strong, stay focused, stay optimistic, and never give up. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you in a couple of months at Hero.
I love hearing from you. And by the way, have you subscribed to the podcast yet? Oh my gosh, if you haven't, please do so right now, because there's so much cool stuff ahead. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because it would be much cooler if you did. Plus, I don't want you to miss any of the new episodes I'm dropping weekly. Last thing, if you haven't checked out RyanWeeden.com yet, there are some great freebies on there that I want to give you. So go ahead and check it out, RyanWeeden.com. Thank you so much for listening. You are awesome.